Hello and welcome to the very first Seismic Cinema podcast. We're finally in live action, and I'm joined here by the coach and Raimundo.
Hello, Aslan, aka Freezer Dude,
That,
aka Mrs. Spark.
thanks, Paul, giving away my secret identity. So, the coach. Do you want to just let any new viewers know what your name is?
My name is Paul. I'm the cynical, unfunny one that usually meanders off track. And joined is, where's my camera? Is Daniel.
I am Daniel. I'm the quiet one.
Daniel is our now regular guest. So this is our first time, and I'm very excited to say I can finally call it a video without being wrong, but it is also a podcast. So we thought we'd put you through enough torture having to listen to our dulcet tones twice a week. So we're finally treating you to seeing our faces as well. So Daniel, are you wanting to, as the resident guest, introduce what we're going to look at in this video?
Yeah, tonight we'll be reviewing The Gentleman.
So, always good to give a wee bit of background. I think, Daniel, you've seen this a couple of times. Would that be right in saying?
Yeah, I would say about 4 times. I've watched it,
Four times.
Twice recently, actually.
That's quite impressive. Paul, you did your usual thing. Did you watch half of it and then not watch the rest?
Yeah, I watched like half of it in like a weekend morning, and I was pretty sleepy, so I gave it a miss, and then I watched the rest of it. So the beginning's a bit kind of murky for me. I can't really remember a lot of the start, but from the rest of it, I'll remember. So
yeah,
I'm on it. How about you?
I watched it last night for the very first time after it had been mentioned to me by one of my colleagues, Mr. Graham Stoddart, had mentioned it quite a few times as being a film to definitely check out. And one great thing about doing this podcast is it really is encouraging me to watch things that I've put on a list for too long. So I'm looking forward to watching Halloween and what's the other film I'm going to watch, Paul? Die Hard.
Halloween, Die Hard, Terminator.
We're trying to keep the runtime down, so I'm trying to do better. It's all about self-improvement, as our friend Andrew Strachan and Strachan's podcast would say.
Are you on a challenge to drop as many names as you can in the first 5 minutes?
Well, you guys were doing it last week. I didn't join in, so I thought I'd join in this week. Right.
Also,
yeah,
this whole movie was requested by one of our viewers.
Can you remember who it was?
Stuart Smith.
Stuart Smith. That's the second time you've dropped his name.
Yeah, well, you gotta give the people what they want.
Does he get some kind of prize for having 2 requests in a row?
No.
It's really worrying me, by the way, because we're doing a recording, not a live video, but in the corner of my screen it says live. I hope that's not what I think it is.
Sorry, if it is live, there's probably nobody watching anyway, so don't worry.
That's true. Plus, I disabled the links. I disabled the links to the social media anyway. Right. So, for anyone watching one of our reviews for the first time, what we like to do is talk about what we like first, what we dislike, finish off with a wee rating and some shameless plugs. We are in our early podcast. We just tended to talk through the entire plot of every episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and with hindsight, that probably wasn't the best way to structure a podcast about movie or TV. So we're going to talk more about what we like and what we dislike.
Especially when we got half the plot wrong as well. So
that's not true. So who's wanting to start? Paul, the coach. What's something that you enjoyed? What's something you enjoyed about this movie?
I liked the intertwining kind of stories of all the different characters. It's directed by Guy Ritchie, and it's just a typical Guy Ritchie movie, isn't it? It's just all these different stories, they all culminate in like one big whirlwind. at some point. So I would say the kind of clever way all the stories kind of intertwine, especially seeing as your character Aslan, like things like that. He doesn't play a big part when you're watching the movie. It's just kind of like a background kind of something that happens, and then in the overall scheme of things, it's a massive part of the movie.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't think you have seen it, actually. It reminded me a wee bit of Nice Out.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's good.
Just with the kind of intertwining a lot of it, because I think like the detective, no, it's the word I'm looking for, private investigator, is quite a bit like Daniel Craig's character in Nice Out, just in terms of like kind of character style and just the way he kind of tells the stories.
Yeah,
Paul, it was a seismic suggestion, and you've not seen it yet, so you better get on it.
It's on the list.
It's on the list.
Along with Rebels.
After Rebels, yeah. Right, Daniel, what's something that you enjoyed about The Gentleman?
So I really enjoyed the script, the dialogue in the movie. Very cleverly written, as most Guy Ritchie movies are. So that was the main thing that stood out for me. It's the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's very smart, and all the characters bounce off each other very well.
There's a lot of
they're quite fluent, the way they speak to each other, and the patter. Yeah, it's just really good.
There's a lot of memorable quotes that we would love to share, but as this is a family-friendly show, that you need to check out the film for yourself.
Yeah,
because especially like Einstein, like you can imagine people talking to each other that kind of way. Like it's quite an out there kind of premise of the film, like the plot, all these different things happening, but the way they talk to each other is kind of based in quite realistic, if you'd say. You know what I mean? You can imagine people like talking to each other that way, and people being like, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
It was a really funny film. I think the humor was really on point, and for me, Colin Farrell's character, Paul's character, the coach, I thought he was brilliant. Just his introduction and the scene in was it like a fast food place?
Chippy,
yeah. I suppose that's fast food. But, I really enjoyed that scene, and Colin Farrell's having a good week with us, having been in the Batman as well. So I think he elevates any film he's in.
Yeah, he's having a good resurgence, isn't he?
Mm. He's not actually as old as you think he was. I looked this up. He's about 45, 46. He's actually a bit younger than you maybe think he would be.
Right.
He's doing well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, I liked the humour. So Paul, is there anything else in particular that stood out for you?
Nah, that was it. That's my review done.
That was a quick review. It's a lot quicker than online, isn't
it? Like you're saying, I like the characters. They all kind of get their own wee kind of individual spotlight. Like some films you can get characters where they just kind of fade into the background. But like I feel like everybody gets their own wee kind of time to shine. Like even Matthew McConaughey's kind of goons, like they get named and they have like their own wee kind of individual moments, like Bunny and stuff like that. I think his name's Bunny. So yeah, I like the kind of involvement of all the wee different characters. Even the toddlers, like the guys that rob the farm.
Yeah.
Like they will get their kind of wee intros and stuff like that. And you kind of want to know more about them, but so you're kind of invested in them more. So I like that about the characters. They'll kind of get the wee one moments to shine.
Nice. Raimundo, anything else that stood out for you?
I would say Fletcher stood out for me. Hugh Grant's character. I think he had one of the best scripts out the whole, out of everybody in the movie. His lines were just fantastic. The way he bounced off Raymond's character, at the start. just to set everything up. And I thought it was very well done for Hugh Grant as well, for someone that is kind of typecast for, being in these rom-coms. To have him in a part like this, it just really shows how strong an actor he actually is.
Yeah, he done really well. He was a big highlight, wasn't he? I was speaking to one of my colleagues at work, Big Paul, not me Paul, Big Paul at work, and he absolutely loved Hugh Grant's character. He was saying that because of his kind of checkered background with the media, that he used all that experience and kind of channeled it into this quirky kind of sleaze bag of a character.
Yeah,
And he played it really, really well.
it did work.
Fun fact: do you know when he pitches his script at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
The production company he's pitching it to is the company that produced the movie.
Yeah, it's Miramax. Is that right?
So,
wasn't that a Guy Ritchie poster or something in the background too? One of his other movies.
I saw somewhere that Guy Ritchie's actually in that scene.
He's in the end scene. He's one of the producers.
Was he?
I like when they do things like that. Another actor that I recognise right away is it Ed Marson? You know, the guy that plays the journalist.
Oh, is that the one that's in Donovan and stuff?
He's in the World's End. He's one of the gang that goes on the Golden Mile.
Yeah. He's in quite a lot of things. I think he's in wasn't he?
Yeah, I clocked him right away as a big fan of. Just talking about Edgar Wright, actually, I thought the camera work was really good and quite similar to kind of Edgar Wright's in a lot of ways, with the kind of quick cuts. For those that have seen Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz will understand what I mean.
Yeah.
I thought the camera work was really good.
Yeah.
Very, very clever. Very typical Guy Ritchie, though.
Paul's staring off into the distance there.
No, I was just looking. I was like, I've got it in the background. I was just like,
all right.
it's where somebody dies.
I wasn't sure your TV was. So talking about where people die, there was obviously a couple of memorable deaths. Daniel, do you want to field one of them?
I would like to mention one, but I don't know if I can say his name.
Is it Voldemort?
Fuck.
Can't see his name.
Your jokes are getting worse by the week, by the way.
All right, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you get the pronunciation right, we'll allow it.
I don't want to say it too much. I'm trying to keep it clean, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Who are you talking about? I can't even remember.
I know.
Who? What?
Say that again.
I know who he's talking about. Yeah.
Oh, my mind's gone blank now. Who was it that died?
He was in the coach's scene. You should know this. He's in the trunk of the car.
Oh. Okay, got you.
Jumps off the bridge.
Yeah, that was quite a shocking moment. It happened really quickly because, as always, when I'm watching a film, I was quite tired, so I was like dozing off ever so slightly. Then all of a sudden, he just jumped. So there was another death scene. My character's death scene falling out the window was quite brutal as well.
Yeah.
Did he fall or was he pushed?
He was probably pushed. We've made it this far without actually mentioning, I've forgotten his name, but the guy who spends the majority of the film with Hugh Grant's character.
Raymond.
Yeah, Raymond.
Oh, is that who Raymond is? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it at the time, and I did only watch
Charlie
a few
Hunnam.
episodes of it, but he was the main guy in Sons of Anarchy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Pacific Rim.
Yeah, I watched like maybe half of the first season of that. I don't know. Did you watch Sons of Anarchy?
Well, I watched it all.
Yeah.
Not
Paul, put it in your list.
My dad's watched it. He'll tell me all about it. Fine.
Yeah. Right, so we'll eventually want to get on to the things or anything we didn't like, but there's probably quite a lot.
There's still
Still,
loads
there's
of it,
probably
like,
still quite a lot here that we could. I'm the timer guy, so I always like to just keep a wee
Yeah.
eye on the clock.
no. I like you're saying about the characters. I really like just Matthew McConaughey's character. It just comes across as so cool,
Yeah.
so calm. But you think he's just going to be like a ruthless businessman. And a lot of times in these movies as well, like he'll have like a wife or a girlfriend, and they're just like a kind of a trophy wife. And they don't really care about them, kind of thing. But in this one, like he really goes all out. If he thinks there's a threat to her, he'll like move heaven and earth to try and kind of sort it for a saver, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of refreshing take on gangsters.
That was his main motivation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the scene when he was negotiating, I like that scene where he's like, basically, give me the money or you're getting locked in the freezer.
Yeah, and the only way you're getting out is with the money and a pound of flesh.
Yeah.
So there was the cast was really, really good. Even a lot of the minor characters as well. And what was the group, the kind of singing group that robbed the farm?
The Toddlers.
Yeah, their music was quite catchy as well. I thought it was in the closing credits as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just a bit weird,
Yeah,
wasn't
it
it?
was.
I don't know. It was not my kind of music.
No,
It wouldn't be in my top 10 soundtracks.
no
But
doubt.
last week.
Stop plugging previous episodes. Right, let's just see if there's anything else that comes to. I like the twists because obviously you thought that he was going to die. Do you know when you see him get shot,
Or do you?
or you think you see him get shot, but then there's the kind of twist. There's quite a few twists upon a twist. See when they revealed that they've been tracking Fletcher all along. So I'm glad it didn't go too far. One of my criticisms for the end of for the Batman was that it did just keep going on a bit too long. To me, that was a really perfect length for a movie. I think an hour 50 minutes for that type of film is pretty perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be any longer than it.
I've got a cat behind me. Do you see him?
Yeah.
I think it was on your shoulder.
He wasn't. He was on the edge of the chair. That's Buddy, one of Seismic Cinema's resident cats. Right. Paul, Daniel, anything else you want to throw into the ring?
Are we talking about what we didn't like, or
Still things that we do like?
Again, yeah, all the characters. I don't think there was any weak characters in the movie at all. The story was brilliant. Very, very much a Guy Ritchie movie. Have you seen his previous movies, Guy Ritchie's?
I'm going to do my Colin thing and say, although I haven't, as soon as I watch that, that's what I do. See if I see a director that I really like, or just a screenwriter, I've already wrote down the names of his two most famous films to watch, so I'm on it.
What ones are they? What ones did you pick?
Hold on. Just get my trusty list out.
If you say Sherlock Holmes, you're getting us on that.
Snatch.
Yes.
Correct.
And Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Okay, I would add one on. I would say Rock and Roller.
Rock and Roller.
Yes.
See in one Seismic Cinema special episode, I'll just read through my entire watch list and my TV show watch list as well.
Yeah.
Why did you pick cinema to review?
Because it's encouraging me to watch things I haven't watched. That's our unique selling point, Paul. Come on.
I would give King Arthur a miss.
Okay. I have actually seen the Sherlock. I have seen the Sherlock Holmes one that you're referring to. It's Robert Downey Jr. and Colin Farrell, isn't it?
Jude Law.
Jude Law and
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I knew Robert Downey. I knew one of them. And Andy's no, that's a different film again. I'm thinking of Burke and Hare.
Have you seen Wrath of Man?
What's that?
Have you seen Wrath of Man?
Wrath of Man, though.
Have you seen that, Daniel?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I think that's the Guy Ritchie one as well. 'Cause it's got Jason Statham in it, and it's about like armored cars and stuff like that. And it's really good as well. A lot of twists.
Yeah.
I think we should generally do an episode
it up.
where you just ask me what about films, and I'll tell you if I've seen them or not. I think that would be good.
Right, it'd be mostly no.
Oh well. Right. I think now is a prime time to go on to any of the mixed or things that we didn't like about the movie. We'll try and keep these reviews a wee bit shorter than the rankings, which tend to go on all night. So, Paul, do you want to start us off? Is there anything you didn't like about the movie? I know we've all spoke quite or really highly about the movie, but is there anything at all?
I think maybe, like, if you're trying to just kind of casually watch it, if you're not paying attention, some of the characters can kind of get away from you because there's so many characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first started watching it, the first time, I think I kind of got a bit lost with the names of who was who because they're throwing so many characters at you at the one time, and they're like throwing flashbacks at you, and there's like buyers from America coming across, and you got those henchmen and all these different kind of gangs and stuff, and it's like, oh, am I following the right kind of thing here? So I like that was a bit I you know like that was a bit I kind of struggled with at times, but once you get into the film more, it comes pretty easy. So just initially that kind of just to be kind of great, but
yeah,
sort of really got on that matter.
I think it throws you right into the middle of a story that's already ongoing, and obviously the structure of the movie isn't linear. So I must admit, I always seem to be tired, but when I'm watching a film and I'm quite tired, maybe I don't follow it as well as I would if I was laser focused. But so I felt like I didn't enjoy the first half of the movie as much as the second half. For me, when Colin Farrell's character came in, I thought I was just hooked like for the rest of it. I felt like it was maybe a wee bit hard to follow some of the characters and storylines in the first half. But I feel like people that have watched this say it does have a lot of rewatchability. So it is a film I would like to rewatch. And now that I know the full story, I probably would enjoy the full thing more.
Well, that's why I've watched it 4 times. I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah.
But it's because I think it's got that rewatchability because of the different characters, and you pay attention to maybe each one more as you watch it through. Oh god, lost my train of thought now because I'm actually watching it in the background.
Stay on target.
I was thinking about what you were saying earlier about how you can get lost with things, because of a lot of quick cuts and stuff like that. So it is easy to get lost.
Yeah.
If you're not really focused on it, like you said. But I think it's because of the humour as well and how well it's written. You do want to watch it. It's got that rewatchability. So
yeah. I think
So-
we're really the only thing we're really saying, all of us, is the need to focus. There's a lot of characters, but I don't think there's actually anything about the actual story or the acting or the cinematography that I could criticize. Like, they're just the fact I was a wee bit lost in the first half because that's me. But there isn't really anything negative I can say about the film.
Yeah, it's not one of these movies you could just have in the background and then come back to it and you'd be able to pick it up straight away. Like, you need to kind of really stay on the ball, but if you do, the payoff's well worth it because it's so good.
Yeah,
I know we're in the what we don't like section, but this is going to be so short. I just remembered something I did like. I liked when they would randomly something would happen, like somebody would like attack somebody or kill somebody, but then you realize it didn't actually happen, and it's like what's the phrase, the unreliable narrator, like the guy Fletcher's telling the story, but you don't really know if it all happened.
Yeah.
And it was quite meta. I'm the meta guy, and I liked when he's like, "Oh, every movie needs a little bit of action." So there was quite a few comments like that where it was just like nods to the camera that I quite appreciated as well.
Yeah, it's almost breaking the
Yeah,
fourth wall.
yeah, enjoyed wee moments like that, and I think they're ones you would maybe notice more again if you rewatched it.
I was gonna say that was probably that kind of annoyed me because, like, you know, the bit where Dry Eye tries to buy out his business. I think that's when you're talking about where he's saying like he needs a bit more action, and he ends up killing Dry Eye, killing his right hand man, and he says like some pretty cool lines as well. As he's doing it, and then it just cuts back and it's like, yeah, that didn't happen. And I was like,
I like that. I think that's funny.
I know,
To
but
me, to me that's better because you get the action, but then you get the kind of the humor as well. So I like that personally.
Yeah,
I know it's just a wee kind of thing. I think you've seen it so many times in like movies and stuff like that.
You're just bitter about Boba Fett because you didn't get enough action out of him to the last chapter.
Don't rile me, Colin.
Yes, definitely. So, is there anything else at all that you dislike? I honestly can't think of anything, and obviously that's shows how bad we are at film reviewing, but also the fact that it was good.
The only thing I didn't like is one particular scene was when Lord George, the vomit scene. I didn't particularly care for that.
It was like the In-Betweeners, the season 3 finale of the In-Betweeners.
Yeah, it's like if you're going to like, it was pretty unrealistic, wasn't it? It's like
no, I've actually got a friend that throws up like that. So
well, it just sits up straight and goes.
I think you know who I'm talking about, Paul. We won't name drop them.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We can talk about that off there. So will we go for our ratings then? Rating out of 10. So we've done the likes, done the dislikes, which there wasn't a lot of. I need a few seconds of thinking time. Does anyone want to go first? Anyone got their rating ready to go?
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
9 out of 10.
Oh,
why are you dropping the point, Daniel?
Well, I don't want to give it a perfect rating.
You said that last time.
I don't think you should ever give anything a perfect rating. Because there's always somebody going to be upset by that if you give something a perfect 10.
We're not here to please people, Daniel. We're just here to
give people heartfelt opinions.
It's a great movie. I'm not a big fan of British movies, to be fair, but but Guy Ritchie, the way he's got his cast, it just makes it so enjoyable to watch. So, doesn't seem like a British movie. It helps.
Well, you're definitely not being invited to the Cornetto trilogy ranking then.
Cornetto?
Paul.
You're not going to elaborate on it?
Oh, yeah. Cornetto trilogy is Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, Simon Pegg movies.
Right. I've only seen Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead.
World's End's like the probably least universally loved, but I personally have a very fun spot for it. But I think that's maybe something we can maybe do in a future podcast. Paul, what's your rating for this?
I'd probably go with Daniel on a 9. It's not perfect, but it's damn near close. There's only like wee nitpicky things like we said in the movie, in this.
We're not in the movie, Paul. This is a podcast.
In this movie with our faces, it's not perfect, but I really enjoy it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it because, like Daniel, I'm not really into British films. I really love Snatch because, like, it's
spoilers.
I was going to say it's kind of got It's like this. It's got like loads of intertwining stories, typical Guy Ritchie, and
Yeah.
I really like this one as well. So I would go a 9. If Lord George had spewed in a realistic way, I'd have gave it a 10.
Those fine margins, isn't it?
You know. Oof.
I'm not just being a copycat here, but 9 was what I was thinking as well. The only point I would chop off was that it is just a lot to take in, and I don't think until you get into the second half is where it all starts to kind of mesh together, and you start to see all the links and understand who's who. So yeah, it's not even a real criticism because it pulls off and it works in the end, but I just feel like the first half hour, I think people who aren't as into movies as we are, despite my track record, would maybe be put off. Do you agree that it's maybe not for everybody? Do you think some people could just get a bit lost and just go, right, nah, not for me?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it could be easy for people to get lost in these type of movies.
I think it's one people will either really love or just not get. I think one that kind of just.
Was this straight to Netflix, or was it? Did it go in the cinemas?
It was in the cinema.
Was it in the cinema? I didn't.
Yeah, I went to go see it.
2020 it came out in UK.
2019, I think.
This is that old?
Yeah, late 2019.
So we baby.
I thought it was like 2021, end of 2021. I didn't realize it was 2019. Shows
Yeah,
how much time played in this pandemic, yeah?
I know, you've lost a couple of years.
I know, it's crazy how quickly time has passed. Right, I've decided on a new seismic cinema tradition. And I actually just thought of this when we were doing it.
Oh, good.
I think so it could be me or Paul, or me or Daniel, or Paul or me. I think we should all give each other a film that we've not seen that we should watch for the next time we're all together. Just as a wee thing, and we could discuss it next time we're on.
But how do we know what nobody's seen?
So, like, what's that?
We'll give each other a movie to watch.
Like, me or you could give Daniel a film to go watch that we know he's not seen, and like your Daniel could choose from what the 1,000 I've not seen. Do you know what I mean? Just so like the next time we're together, we could just give a wee bit about what we thought. It was just an idea.
Okay.
I want Daniel to watch The World's End, just so he's completed the Cornetto trilogy.
Right, okay. I'll watch that.
I think it's on Netflix.
Sorry, Daniel.
What to say? No, we'll discuss it when you've actually watched it, but Ed Marston's in it. There you
go. Yeah. This is where you choose your allegiances, Daniel. You either go Team Colin or Team PK.
No, we don't need to.
This is
where you choose your allegiances. You either Team Colin or Team PK on this one.
Right, out of all the things I've not seen, what we're going for.
And it will affect your future on this show.
Paul, I thought you said I was the boss.
It will affect your future on the show too.
Right, Paul and Daniel, what's my film to watch then? Out of them all.
Well, since we're talking about Guy Ritchie movies,
another Guy Ritchie film, to be honest.
I would say Rock and Roller. If you like The Gentleman, you'll like Rock and Roller.
What's it on? Where could I watch it?
I think the last time I seen it was on either Prime or Netflix.
Right.
But the cast in it is brilliant. You've got Gerard Butler, Idris Elba, Mark Strong, Toby Kebbell.
And who they all were apart from that last person?
Toby Kebbell.
Yeah, Rock and
Roller.
Rock and Roller.
Rock and
Roller. Yeah.
It's like yellow. Gerard Butler, Tom Wilkinson, Thandie Newton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. It's about the same length as The Gentleman, so I'll get on that. Right, Daniel, what are we going for Paul? Off the top of my head, things Paul's not seen. Oh wait, Nice Out.
Yeah, you should watch Knives Out. Yeah,
I've got a DVD if you want to borrow it.
It's a good movie. It's on. That should be on Netflix actually.
I don't think it is. I bought it quite recently because I couldn't find it. It was on Amazon Prime. You had to pay for it. It was like a rental, but I bought it on DVD cheaper.
All right, walk along the road and pop it through my letterbox.
No, it's a bit wet, but yeah. So that's yours. So Nice Out, World's End, and Rock and Roller.
And when's the deadline just for next time we meet up?
We don't want to be too strict with it. Just within the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
My battery's going to die, sorry. 1%.
Oh no.
The production value.
Right, talking about production value, I think it's time to just talk a wee bit about where you can find Seismic Cinema. So you won't be able to tell from our lack of branding on this video, where we've not shelled out to pay for the paid membership yet, but you might be able to see our lovely logo produced by Raimundo himself on our future videos. Paul, are you doing the social media plugs this week?
I can try, but it's not
Do
going
you
to
want
be.
to do the social media plug, and I'll do the actual podcast one in terms of where they can find us?
Right, okay. No worries. So, yeah, you can find us on Facebook where we post terrible memes under Seismic Cinema. You can see us on Instagram where we post terrible memes under Seismic Cinema. Occasionally post a story with terrible memes. Also, we're on Twitter under Seismic Cinema, which is pretty surprising. And we have quite a good wee community of podcasters that we talk to, and it's quite a good wee laugh. And
Daniel's gone.
Daniel's gone. No.
We don't get to thank him for being a guest. Right. So thank you for that, Paul. In terms of where you can actually, so this is our first one that you'll actually be able to watch and really enjoy seeing us on the big screen or the wee screen, wherever you're watching it. So please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see more of this fantastic content. Give us a wee like as well. You'll also find us in audio format on Spotify, Good Pods, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor, which is our home base. Actually, is it? It's not really now. Technically, StreamYard's our home base. So thank you, StreamYard, for letting us record this video. Next week, or not next week. This is obviously Tuesday. We've actually got our. No, Paul, I've messed our days up again. What day are we on? So this is live. This is live on Thursday night. Yes.
Yep.
On Tuesday night next week, we've got another ranking, and this one was your pick. Do you want to just give an outline of what I think it's just me and you this week? What we're going to talk about?
It was Monday night.
We keep changing our schedule. Yeah, I'm meant to be the schedule guy.
I know. We're failing terribly. So yeah, we'll be taking applications for
What's that?
a new co-host. Because Colin seems to be kind of wavering a wee bit. So yeah, just write to Seismic Cinema.
You can't kick me out of my own company.
So what was I going to do that again? Oh yeah, so Monday we are dropping a ranking of our top 10 build roles. I mean, top 10 female actresses in movies. In honor of International Women's Day, because I was inspired by a podcast of a friend of our channel's, talks about Star Wars. He's done a couple of great wee episodes for basically Women's History Month. I can't remember what it was. And he's done a couple of episodes kind of focusing on female Star Wars characters, and kind of just inspired my choice for this top 10. So yeah, that'll be dropping on Monday.
So because it's just Paul and myself, we're going to do our top 10. When we have a guest on, I think we're going to do top 5. It means we can go into more depth and reduce the runtime a wee bit, so we're not taking up too much of StreamYard's minutes. So the following week, we are going to review one of the movies I've not seen. We're going to be reviewing Die Hard next week. So I'm looking forward to finally watching that. And I think Daniel is just about to return for the finale.
Right, say goodbye, Daniel.
No, we're not done yet. We're not done yet.
We've got
So
nothing.
Was that?
You've got no sound. No.
It's still no sound.
He's like Marcel Marceau. Mind that.
You back? You back? Right. Now we've lost him.
No. We'll just say.
Right. We'll batter on. So we're going to review Die Hard, which I've famously never seen, and then the ranking for the following Monday. Paul, we haven't actually made an official decision. We're going to go for. I might change this, but top 10 movies. But you can only pick one movie from a.
Bye, Daniel.
You can only choose. You can only choose one movie from. We can firm this up later, but from a franchise and from like a genre. So you could have like one sci-fi film. You could have maybe one rom-com, which I know you love. You could have one horror film, that kind of thing. So try and have a real mix of different types of films, but your favourites from those genres or from certain franchises.
I like it.
But we can firm up the details on that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Daniel's not here to do the sign-off line for this review. So obviously we looked at The Gentleman. We all really enjoyed the film. There wasn't much to say that we disliked about it, and I'm looking forward to watching some more of the Guy Ritchie films that I've not seen. So the one advantage to not having seen some of these big films is you actually get to enjoy them for the first time. So I think I'm winning there.
And you really get to enjoy the power of escapism.
Yeah, I was just about to get you to do the sign-off there. So we're a bit nervous at the start doing our first live-action podcast, but I think we settled into it, and I actually quite enjoyed it. In the end, it's a wee bit better speaking to a face rather than to just into the four walls of your house.
Yeah, and you tend not to speak over each other as well.
There's still be instances of that, but we'll get over that. Also, hope you really enjoyed my nerd room with my Avengers, Harry Potter, and Spider-Man memorabilia. What have you got, Paul?
Hope you enjoyed my vase and fake plant and photo book of my dogs.
Right, we'll improve Paul's set design for the next one. Right, so that was Seismic Cinema. That was our Gentleman review. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you liked it, leave a comment, like, subscription, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Have a good one.